What is up, guys? Welcome to another video, and today we are going to go ahead and talk about Forza Horizon 4. I've seen a fair few videos, floating around the internet talking about the location for Forza Horizon 4, whether it's, the leaks regarding Japan and the UK, or whether it's people discussing if the location even matters, and I kind of want to talk about that in this video. Because unlike many other games, and I'm not saying location isn't a big thing for those other games, but unlike a lot of other games, I feel like with Horizon, the location tends to be a lot more important. The problem, for me at least, with the last few Horizon games is that the map has been very, very boring, and I think you could probably see where I'm going to go with this. I know a lot of people are saying, well, does it really matter if it's in the UK, or does it matter if it's in Japan? And I feel like it does, because as I've just said, the maps in the past few games have been very, very boring. And if Forza's track record is anything to go by, they don't really add much, with the games as they go on. If anything, they take things away, which is quite weird. And one thing which, I've been missing from a Forza map for ages, in a, Horizon map at least, is elevation. Everything is flat, and it may sound so simple, like saying it in out loud, but if you actually go back to Horizon 1, there was a lot more elevation in the map, a lot more canyon roads to drive. It wasn't just fields and sand. I don't want to see any more fields, any more sand. I'm sick of it. I've talked about this before. I'm sick of seeing fields. I'm sick of seeing sand. I don't want to see any more of the outback. I don't want to see any more roads, God, I don't know, none of it, please. I want to see asphalt. I want to see road. It just got to the point now, I'm just every game is doing it. I don't want to see it anymore. And that, I think, is something which, is quite important with the location. The reason why I think Japan would be great is because obviously it has the open, grass areas, but as well as that, it has a lot of elevation for the, mountain type roads and toge type roads, which the UK just simply doesn't have, really. Also, for some reason in Horizon games, roads seem to be really, really wide. For some reason, it leaves a lot of room for error, and a lot of people have the problems with the checkpoints because, because the roads are so wide, the checkpoints are on each side of the road, and you end up actually missing the checkpoints. Now, that is a bit of a deeper issue with the game, which is a bit more kind of nitpicky, but that is kind of one of the reasons why I think location's really important. Another one is the overall vibe of the game and the atmosphere. Atmosphere is very, very, very important, and naturally with the location comes an atmosphere. And I'm not sure about you guys, but in the last game, it was non-existent. Australia felt so dead, and I might just be me saying that because I didn't really like Australia as a location. I thought it was a bit boring. But at least the execution of it was quite boring. And again, I'm going to keep coming back to this boring statement because that's honestly how I feel about the last two kind of iterations of Horizon. Australia was just a bit bland. Surfers Paradise was the main area that I hung around in because it was the main city area, and then you had Byron Bay. And I guess the rainforest area was cool, but I personally didn't touch the outback really at all. Other than obviously Goliath and stuff, races where you have to go through it, obviously I did. But for the most part, I can't say it was amazing. It leads me to think, if all of the leaks are heading towards the UK, and that is going to be true, it's probably going to be more of the same. The Forza Horizon maps are never really true to life. If you look at the Australia one, it's not literally Australia, and if you look at the Forza Horizon 2 one, it's a lot closer to reality, but not that close, if you know what I mean. I'm pretty sure it was missing out Monaco on Horizon 2's map, so they do mix and maps, and obviously it's not real, it's fictional, based on real life places, so they can mix and match. So realistically, if they really wanted to put Wales, Scotland and London together, they could. But speaking from someone who lives here, and if it's anything like it is living here, there's going to be a lot of fields. I can see a lot of fields. It looks like it's going to be more of the same, which really, really worries me. I don't really want it to be the same again. I've had hopes for Horizon to change and, be something greater. The thing with Horizon is they have so much potential in what they can do. They've proven with Horizon 1 that they can make amazing games, and each game since then has been well polished and well thought out. But there's not been much progression from the title. You look from Horizon 1 to Horizon 2, you made the leap up to next gen, and there's not really much else there, really. I guess the multiplayer was a pretty big thing, that got a pretty big overhaul, but in some ways, it's still very broken. If you win races, you don't actually win the whole thing, which is quite weird. It's XP based, which I don't really like. But, you know, there's a lot of improvements made to the multiplayer. I can't deny that. You know, the whole thing is a lot more robust and a lot more seamless now, which is always a good thing. But I do think in some ways it still hasn't really been fixed. Then you look up to the leap to Horizon 3, and what did they add? Other than the graphics looking amazing as always, because they would do it to Horizon game, it's Microsoft only, of course it's gonna. They didn't really add much. They added Forza Blueprint, which kind of was a bit of a cheat for me, at least. I felt like it just kind of took out the whole progression thing with Forza. You know, there wasn't much to begin with. Now there's literally none. Other than that, you know, other than more cars, which is a granted one with Horizon, because they would just add the cars from Forza Motorsport, the previous Forza Motorsport game. There's not really much which I can say has been added to Horizon generally. I don't know if I feel like we're just going to get more of the same, which is the problem, and that's why I'm so critical with Horizon, is because they have so much potential to kind of put it with the next step up, but instead they add these incremental improvements, which are they're such small baby steps, it doesn't really improve the series an awful lot. The physics have been greatly improved from Forza Horizon 2 to Forza Horizon 3, and if you do play the two, you can definitely see a big difference, but there's still problems. Like, all-wheel drive is still very, very good. It's a lot better than rear-wheel drive, and that is something that you will find, you know, if you go into an online lobby and you race cars, you need to race an all-wheel drive car in a competitive lobby if you're going to win. But the likelihood is there's going to be someone at the back in that lobby drifting rear-wheel drive, and it'll come off the leaderboard. There's a lot of things that I can say about Horizon that do need to be improved. Location does matter. Inherently with certain locations, you know, just because of the type of place it is, you know, the map is going to be changed a lot around that, you know, the vibe, the festival vibe to be changed a lot around that. For me, I think with like the Japan and the neon setting and, you know, the elevation, the map and the mountains and all the beautiful scenery, I think there's a lot to show off in Japan. I do think the UK can be done right, and I hope they do it right. I'm just hoping that this game has more of a road focus than an off-road focus, unlike the last few games. In the last few games, I felt like it was kind of like 1/3 asphalt, 1/3 off-road, and 1/3 both like mixed. And I kind of would just want to see asphalt take a bit more of a priority. It's one of those things which hasn't really taken priority at all, and it's something which I do think that the series overall would really, really benefit from, and it's something which, as a Forza fan, you know, I missed like Forza Horizon 1's, you know, on-road sections. I get the whole idea of the road and you want the map to be open, and I get it and I understand that, but I think at the same time, I wouldn't mind if they did close it down a bit. Again, this all comes down to the map and the location, and this is all speculation from what I've said, and obviously the location hasn't been unveiled, and that is likely to be at E3. But I think that's my little rant over. I do think it matters. I think it matters if it's in Japan. I think it matters if it's in the UK. I think it matters heavily. I think just because of the natural setting, it's gonna, you know, do one of two things. It's either going to make it quite boring, or it's either going to make it quite exciting, and obviously that's just something we're going to have to wait and see when it comes out. Anyway, let me know what you think down in the comment section down below. Do you think it matters? Yeah, as I've just said, I think it does. I think it really, really does. I think the fact that we're looking more towards the UK now is probably going to have quite a big effect, but it's one of those things we're just going to have to see how it goes. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to go ahead and hit the like, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. You guys have been awesome. Stay safe, and peace.